Sounds good. Jason, what's your next topic?
Yeah, what's our next topic? I don't know. This was a good one, talking about shit like that. How long have we been talking?
Too long. Half an hour.
No, not quite, but
Two.
we're late. It's about 20 minutes. So,
Hey guys, welcome to the Nikta and Jason show. I'm Nikta, that's Jason. Today, Jason is going to, should I say lecture me? Explain to me, describe to
and
me,
our viewers
and our beloved viewers and subscribers, hit that subscribe button, about the concept of a cargo cult, which I'm literally Googling because I've never heard of this before. What is a cargo cult and why do you want to talk about it?
Glad you asked. So, cargo cult is a term I was introduced to last decade. The naughties, I don't know. It's kind of used as a term to where you're going through the motions for something. You're told something is good, and so you do it, but you have no idea why, and you end up becoming some kind of ceremony. And so we talked about OKRs and we talked about MVPs, and so those are a couple of terms and processes and ideas that people somewhat misapply. And so if you just say that you're doing it, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get success. Agile, a lot of these things are applied in a manner that's kind of like cargo cults. So let me explain what cargo cults are. Okay. So World War II, right? Massive global conflict. And the Americans had two theaters of war, Atlantic, Pacific. In the Pacific, their Navy kind of established all these bases on these islands that had never seen modern, technology and things like that.
Yeah.
And what would happen? The Americans would come in and they'd build an airport in like a week, and they just keep on flying all these planes with people and supplies and chocolate, and they would the tribes on those islands would be given chocolate, and they're like, what, this thing is amazing, it's foil wrapped and it's shiny, and they loved it. Chocolate, awesome. And they would carry on up through and beat Japan and leave. They all left. All the Americans went home, and they kept these airports hung around, and these tribes were like, we want this chocolate back. And they don't have, I don't know what they do on the islands, but I think they have a lot of free time, and so they just watched what the Americans did. And they had these the people guiding the planes in, or the people in the towers on the radios and stuff, and they saw those people doing these motions, and they would call in the planes, and these planes would come down with all this treasure. Let's do that. And so they'd go through the motions of they'd build them themselves, the things to guide the planes in and the radio towers, and they'd build their own runways and stuff. And they'd go through all these motions, but nothing would happen. Because they have no idea why these planes are coming in. And they just focus on the motions that these people were doing at the time. And so that's a cargo cult. And you see that show up a lot in tech. And so once you're aware of the concept, you can never not see it again. And it shows up all the time in all kinds of areas where a lot of people are just kind of, this idea that has merit, right, kind of gets introduced, and then it just transforms and just spreads. But a lot of people don't know why it spread or what's valuable about it. And you end up getting people doing things because, if you do this, you're going to be successful, but they don't really know why. And it happens all the time. A lot of ones, test-driven development, using agile, model view model. All these things can be, they all have their merits, but unless you truly understand them, you're just cargo cult programming. You're doing them you're doing the ceremony, but you don't know why. And you're often doing it and you think you're doing something that's going to bring, rain success upon you, but it isn't. And so it's something you got to watch out for. Cargo cult programming. So let's tie it back to MVP. Oh, hey, let's just make an MVP. You just say that, or someone has heard about MVP, or people, someone is informed and then they explain it poorly and then everyone else has to say it. And then that person leaves and then they keep doing this thing. You're a cargo culting if you don't understand what MVP means truly. And all you think it is, oh, well, we'll just ship something.
Hey, I have some questions. Even if you do cargo cult programming, is it actively harming someone? And if not, then if there's some potential that there's going to be some upside, like test-driven development, or let's even say like commenting your code. And then later that's helped someone. Like, maybe you don't totally understand why, maybe you haven't had to, I don't know, read somebody else's comments. Maybe it's a bad example, but like, do you know what I mean? Like if it's not hurting anyone and there's potentially some upside to doing the right motions, then why is that a bad thing? And is that in fact the most efficient way of getting swaths of people to do what's right, rather than taking the time to explain? And I can already imagine some of the comments that are going to come in. Like, rather than doing the hard thing, which is like truly make people have ownership of the problem and understand everything and devote their time and energy into like diving deep into something, just kind of create some cult behaviors.
No, it can't, because it ends up being, the cult part ends up being reinforcing, and people stop thinking, and you're like, no, you can't. Then you can't reason and you can't explain why that particular thing doesn't apply. So let's use code commenting, because that's one that, like, oh, always comment your code. You always have to comment your code. And so you end up getting, and so everyone says, oh yeah, code comments, they're really important. Except that, there's a lot of code that doesn't need to be commented, but you have this idea that you have to comment your code. And so then you end up having this kind of stereotypical comment, which is like, and I saw this great tweet where it's a picture, let's say it's a photo, and there's a cat, and then someone put a label, cat. That's what code comments look like. Like, they are completely useless. Like, this is a cat, and it's a cat.
Right. First, we define our variables. Defines the variables.
Right. Like those aren't useful, but you think, oh, well, I'm commenting my code, therefore I'm doing something good. And it can get even, like, if people are kind of blind to the reason you do something, like, I don't know, we might not have enough time for it, but there's a lot of trendy architectures in app development. And one that's kind of popular now is model view model. The details don't matter, but it's this concept that's not well defined, and so people all have different ideas about it. And then we got to use MVVM. It's this great thing, and so then said, okay, we're all using MVVM, and we all call our things view models and stuff, but no one really knows how it works. And then let's say someone does understand how it works and they start coding and they're like, it doesn't look like everyone else's. If this doesn't look like anything else, so you're gonna have to change it. But they're not thinking, they're just blindly applying some rule. And that's where it kind of gets dangerous. And I don't know, is it harmful? I don't know. But you end up spinning your wheels. Imagine all the effort it took for that tribe to make a runway and make a control tower and the people the paddles and stuff. And it wasn't going to get them anywhere. So, so that's why it's kind of like, it's probably harmless. And yeah, I think maybe if you do some of those things, you're going to get somewhere, but it's a clumsy way to work, and that's where a lot of companies gonna get caught up in that way of thinking.
What's the alternative? Like, how do you actually train people into having critical thinking skills?
That's a good question. I would have to think about that. I don't know. Educate them on what a particular thing is, like for real. I don't know.
Because like you can't have every employee go home and like, we were just talking about this in the other episode, like read the lean startup so that you actually understand what an MVP is and why we should try to make them, and whatever. Like,
yeah, well, why not?
because employees are either going to resent you for making them do that on their own time.
Yeah.
And if you don't make them do it on their own time, then you're losing some productivity by trying to like, I mean, I don't.
Maybe you present it then, like like you said, you come up with, okay, we're going to use this, and this is what it means, and to me, what do you think? And then you end up talking it out, and like maybe there's a committee to talk to. I don't know, but there's ways to address it. And if you know the term, you can say, are we cargo culting here? Like, why are we doing this? And maybe that'll lead to a good discussion. I don't know.
Guys, I want to hear what you think in the comments. Do you think you've engaged in cargo culting behavior? If so, what's an example? And what's an alternative? How do you get people to develop critical thinking skills in an organization so that you're not all hoping that it'll rain chocolate on you one day? Smash that subscribe button.
Lead to your success is clicking subscribe.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.